We know that there are two forces acting on the parachute, gravity and air resistance. Gravity causes two objects to be drawn together. The acceleration of gravity is negative 9.81 meters per second square. Resistance is a form of friction occurring where the object is pushing air out of its way as it moves forward. If there is no air resistance, then gravity would cause everything to fall at a constant speed. Air resistance happens because as things fall, they have to push their way past the atoms and molecules that make up air in order to get where they're going. Resistance can be reduced by changing the shape of the object so that it can push the air away more easily. This is called streamlining. The point of the parachute is to maximize air resistance because of the huge surface area. So the bigger surface area you have, the slower you'll go. Experiment was made to prove our facts by taking a shopping bag and a leaf bag and running with them behind our heads. The experiment showed it was harder to run with the leaf bag because it had more surface area and more air resistance. Circular parachutes go slower than rectangular parachutes, but why? Air parachutes cannot open to the depths of circular ones since they feature several shallow centers instead of one deep one. For this reason, they cannot slow the descent of falling as quickly as circular parachutes. As you're falling, the parachute fills up with particles. And since the circular parachute is deeper, it gets filled up with more particles than the rectangular parachute. And so since the circular parachute is bigger, it would take longer for it to release all the particles. Square parachutes are more stable, however, and are easier to maneuver because the airflow is only temporarily redirected and not trapped. Square parachutes allow skydivers to blend with the existing currents of the air and some feature steering devices that allow them to direct the airflow across the parachute and actually steer it. The amount of the air resistance trapped by the parachute determines how much the parachute slows the fall. The force of gravity is overpowered by air resistance because of the force of friction between the air particles and the parachute. To sum things up, there are two forces acting on the parachute, gravity and air resistance. When it comes to parachuting, air resistance is stronger than gravity. The parachute slows down because of the force of friction between the parachute and the air particles. Also, the air resistance causes the parachute to fill up with air particles.